If you don't come in, bats will swarm down and get caught in your hair. Oh, Anne, just look at your hair. What a mess. Oh, Anne, if you get too close to that garbage disposal, it will catch your hair and suck you into the drain. Oh, Anne. Okay, go ahead and say it with me. Ready? Oh, Anne. You don't watch Dancing with the Stars? Oh, Anne. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. When Bruce and I moved from New York City to Chattanooga, Tennessee at the end of 1990, we found this house on Raccoon Mountain. Sitting between Hamilton County and Marion County, between Eastern and Central time zone, and on land that had seen a great portion of the Civil War. Brown's Ferry, Battle Above the Clouds. Like a rescue dog who had had an abusive owner, this house needed us as much as we needed it. So we started with all the new ugly wallpaper and the wall-to-wall Confederate gray carpet covering beautiful oak floors. It was like somebody had taken this 1924 home and remodeled it after some horrific 1980s sitcom. We realized that we both needed each other. The next year, my parents came for their first visit. Immediately, like always, the battle began with my mother. It was like a tug of war, or like hens fighting for the top of the pecking order. Every morning when I would walk downstairs into the house, I noticed everything she had rearranged the night before. I put things back and I never said a word. Never. The barnyard squalls continued until it found us with our neck feathers raised and our wings spread out wide. My mother packed her bags, got into the car, and waited for my father to drive her away. Do I even remember what it was about? Not really, but it was enough to drive me into seeing a therapist for years. I had to untangle this long, painful relationship. For 2 years, she never talked to me. I would talk to my father regularly when he was at work. But if she ever found out we were communicating, she would have hated us forever. When I would ask ask about speaking to her, he would say, "Anne, I don't think she's quite ready." I'd sit outside watching the clouds roar through the Tennessee Valley as the seasons changed. But there was no change happening in Southern California. Finally, my therapist said, "Why don't you write her a letter?" She felt that I had already established some healthy boundaries, was practicing self-care, was also learning how to have gentler conversations, not letting everything my mother ever said come into my heart, rip me apart, eat my internals right out and through my throat. She said, "I think you're ready, because now you can say no." So we began again through the safe space of letter writing. After several months, my mother announced she was coming for another visit. The mother? I don't think I was quite ready for the mother. So my therapist said, "What do you need for this visit to go well?" I said that I would love to have a mother-daughter therapy session, but my picture perfect, never a hair out of place beautician of a mother, and always right, would never ever consent to a therapy session. Never. But my therapist said, "Would she be willing to have lunch with you and a good friend?" So one day, in a room filled with businessmen and the clanking of dishes, we found a table at Las Margaritas restaurant on Barton Avenue. Before they had even placed the water glasses down in front of us, my mother was telling her entire life story, one I had never ever heard. Her painful childhood, issues with my father and her children and her two sisters, the entire story. I was in shock before the basket of chips even hit the table. It was all out. She had opened up every crevice of her life. And when the first spoonful of rice and beans went into her mouth, she said, "Just look at us. No one would know we were mother and daughter." She is my firstborn, my only daughter. I wanted her to be just like me. And look, we have nothing in common. I felt so sorry for her. How could you put all your wishes, your dreams, your expectations, your desires all into one person, and that one person, me, never delivered? That day, I realized that it was all about her, not about me. This was about her and not being able to let go and see who I was. When we left the restaurant, she told me how much she liked my friend and how much my friend loves her family. And though she would have said the exact same thing, she never knew how to love us as a family. Her judgments drove us apart, divided us, pinned us against each other. We were never a family. She kept the gossip. She kept the criticism flowing through our household until we hated each other. Then she said, "I'd like to buy you a present." She had never bought me a present in my life that was about me. It was always about her. Like the sheepskin rug that she got for me one Christmas, a vegetarian. I gave it to my landlord's wife and she loved it. So I said, okay, let's go antiquing to the East Ridge Antique Mall. And there, I saw it. Yes, dark and morbid and about death, but also about living. There I saw it. It was and is what I feel represents family. When I started to describe this Victorian hair wreath to my mother and remind her that it reminded me of all the heads she had ever cut as a beautician. I don't think she ever quite got it, but she did buy it for me, crafted by women with hair of their deceased loved ones and family, delicately hair wrapped around thin pieces of wire, creating flowers, thistles, and leaves. Hair as the keepsake of life. So you see, my relationship with my mother was always about hair. Thank you.